Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this afternoon's virtual information session with Bryant University. My name is Rachel Worsham, and I'm here with my colleagues Dwayne, Christina, and Jackie from the Emily K Center and Katie from Bryant. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you, Katie.
All right, excellent. Thank you everyone for joining this afternoon. I'm a representative of Bryant University. My name is Katie Fung. I'm a senior assistant director of admission and also a coordinator for multicultural recruitment. So hopefully through the presentation today, you'll get to know a little bit more about who we are, where we're even located, what we have to offer, and then hopefully get a chance to answer all of your questions. So this is a glimpse of campus here that you're seeing on the main screen during our fall season. Something about Bryant University that you'll be able to see if you come to visit us through different points during the year, or if you decide to be a student in the future, is certainly being able to see all of the seasons, even just in your fall and spring semester. So just to get started, I think it's important to talk about our mission statement and what that is for Bryant University. We are a private university, and in our mission, we look to really educate and inspire students to discover their passion to become innovative leaders with character around the world. Really what this is saying is that we are looking to educate the whole person. We are also making sure that you understand what it's like to be a global citizen. I think there is a great importance in that this day and age to make sure that you realize your impact that you can make on the world, but also get an understanding for what different cultures, norms, and things look like around the world as well. All right, a little bit about who we are and what our composition is made up of. So if you estimate or you do a rough rounding up there, we're about 3,500 undergraduate students. So depending where you go to high school, some of you may call this a small private university, some may call it a medium-sized university, really depending on what you're used to in your high school. At this time, we are represented by 38 states of the 50, including North Carolina being one of those states, and 49 countries. As far as the breakdown and what that does look like as far as campus composition, we're about 22% first generation college students, so first in their family to get or work on obtaining a bachelor's degree. We are also about 20% students of color, so we are still a predominantly white institution, although I will speak to some of the resources for our students. And a fun fact to throw in there too is I am an alum, which I didn't get to speak to a little bit earlier. So I am an alum who went through the Bryant University education. Then lastly, anywhere between 8 to 10% for the last couple of years of international students. So at this point, you're probably wondering, this is all great, but she never mentioned where Bryant University is even located. So I will do that here in this slide. We are located in the smallest state in the country, that is Rhode Island. Yes, we are our own state. I know sometimes people get confused where that state may exist or be, but just to give you a little bit of perspective, we are located specifically in Smithfield, Rhode Island. So that here, if you're looking at our map, we're about 15 minutes to the capital of Providence, Rhode Island. Some institutions you may know of in that general area that may be recognizable to you are Providence College, Brown University, Rhode Island School of Design being some of those. And as a fun fact there, we actually used to be Bryant College, which is now Brown University's campus in East Providence. So in 1971, we actually moved from our campus out in Providence to Smithfield, Rhode Island, after land was donated to us by Earl Tupperware. Just like you're thinking the Tupperware you put your leftovers in, that is the land that was donated to us and the land that we're on currently. As far as what is close to us from Smithfield, Rhode Island or from Providence, we're about 45 minutes to another metro city of Boston, about 3 hours to New York City. So that is great for students for networking events, or sometimes if they want to have an academic internship or a summer internship, or visiting their friends or family members in these local nearby cities, or just for a weekend trip, they can certainly do that too. If you are fond of the beaches or historical landmarks and things like that, we have Newport, not too far away from us, about 45 minutes away, and then some beaches in that area too, or for some of the nicest beaches in the country, more towards for the end of your spring semester, or if you decide to stay for the summer, about 2 hours away in Cape Cod. I know that being in North Carolina, you may not see this thing called snow that much, but if you are someone who's looking for all 4 seasons, or you are thinking about picking up skiing or snowboarding or hiking, or you already do that now during the winter time period, about 2 hours away north of us is New Hampshire, Vermont, and Maine. Our Bryant University Outdoor Adventure Club, as well as the Ski and Snowboard Club, are clubs that will take our students up to these local areas. If you're thinking about, wanting to ski or snowboard a certain weekend, we provide the transportation for you and even pay for the lift ticket, which if you are a skier or snowboarder, you will know that lift tickets are not that cheap. So that is something that our students get to utilize if they would like to, or to try something new. And in this next slide, we'll play a video for you to talk a little bit about, from our university president's perspective, some of the changes that have happened from the time we were at Bryant College to Bryant University, to making sure we're keeping up with the times as far as resources for our students on campus.
Bryant has always been an innovative institution. We had a school of business only. And then we added a School of Arts and Science, became a university. As we thought about how do we take that conceptual interdisciplinary process to a new facility, we thought it was most important that we not build a School of Business or a School of Arts and Science facility, but a building that could incorporate all learning. The completion of the Academic Innovation Center is a culmination of Bryant Builds. It's a program that invested $75 million into Bryant University's campus. It's the largest investment we've ever had. It was possible because of generosity of alumni, friends, and many people who invested in Bryant University.
The Academic Innovation Center really works to providing the environment where all students who take the courses, in fact, have that opportunity to really develop those crucial skills for generating ideas, sharing them, and presenting them.
That's the goal of higher education, not to educate them for the past, but to take them into the future. Make sure that they're going to be the leaders. When they step into the company, CEOs are going to say, there's something unique. These people already understand and know how to deal with innovation. They know the characteristics and traits. In fact, they exhibit them every day. In these facilities, we have the opportunity to educate students for the future of our country. Students who will be leaders in healthcare, in business, and in nonprofits.
Hoping from that video you were able to get a little bit of a glimpse of our newest building on campus, which we call the Academic Innovation Center. It had a groundbreaking in 2015 and opened in 2016. And the gentleman that was narrating that there that you saw was our Honorable President Ronald K. Meekley. Ronald K. Meekley, he will be actually retiring after 25 years with us, going on 26 after the cycle ends. So we are going to miss him, but we know that the transition from him to our new president will be a great one, that we will continue to make sure that we give our students the resources that they need to flourish, to succeed, and to make sure we keep up with the times. So talking a little bit about the in-classroom and the academic experience for Bryant University, you will see a theme here about throughout the presentation of ways that through a Bryant education, students will be ready for this quote unquote real world that everyone talks about. So first, the idea of being well-rounded. At Bryant University, upon admission, you actually are able to go into any of the majors that we offer, any of the programs. Although it does say here a College of Business and a College of Arts and Sciences, you are not applying to a specific college for entrance. I'll speak a little bit more about that towards the end of this presentation. But when we say be well-rounded, that means every student at Bryant in their time will complete a major in one college and a minor in the other. They will do that within the 4-year time period. It's not additional classes, it's not classes over the summer, not additional cost or anything like that. We believe that for every student to learn how to read, write, present, communicate well, that comes through the College of Arts and Sciences. On the other side, for a student to be analytical, to get those mathematical skills, to be able to flourish in those ideologies, that comes from the College of Business. So if you're wondering, you know, how does that work or what does that look like? Give me an example. So an example that I can think of is maybe a student who's interested in marketing. That will fall under the College of Business. And then maybe a part of them is interested in understanding how customers kind of do their decision making and what consumer behavior looks like. So that will actually come through in a combination with a minor in psychology. So that is one example of a combination that a student can put together. Maybe a student is interested on the other side, majoring in environmental science, for example, which falls under our College of Arts and Sciences. And maybe from there, they want to open their own lab or their own practice. And through that, they want to have the team management major that falls under the College of Business. So those are two just very simple combinations, and that is certainly not all the combinations that we offer, but just speaking to some of the more popular majors that we do have in the College of Business, that has certainly been some of the common themes you may think of that fall under business administration. So that is finance, accounting, management, marketing, and under management, we have HR management, team and project management, and project and innovation. In addition to that, international business is a huge program for us. It has been nationally ranked alongside our business administration programs from year to year. This allows students to not only learn a language, but also study abroad and also take on a business administration concentration. In addition to that, some newer ones, data science, digital marketing, to make sure we're keeping up again with the times. As far as the College of Arts and Sciences, actuarial mathematics, biology with the pre-med track, and psychology has certainly been some of the ones on that side that has been extremely popular for our students. And thinking about what it looks like in the classroom at Bryant, we are, like I said, a small to medium-sized institution, really depending on what you consider small or medium, but no matter what, we're looking to build that intimate class setting. So it's a 13-to-1 faculty to student ratio where your professors will definitely know your name. They are pretty great at remembering your name within the first week, I would say. I was surprised by that as a student and during my time there. Average class size is about 26 students, and all classes are taught by professors. We don't have any TAs or grad assistants or teaching assistants in the classroom. They are there just actually maybe in the tutoring services or to aid you in other ways, but they're never teaching the classes. As far as what the MyPath program is, you may be sitting there, you know, as a junior or even younger and wondering, okay, again, this sounds great, but I don't know what I want to major in. I maybe have an inkling that it's something along the lines of business or arts and sciences, but I'm not for sure. So we have that MyPath program built in for the students who may come in undecided. Actually, 20% of our students do come in undecided, so it is okay to just apply, come and explore some of our classes and see what we have to offer. And as far as the MyPath program, it actually sets you up with some student mentors, upperclassmen students, as well as some advisors to help you look through what your path may be, what that journey may look like, and also explore how to go from undecided to maybe deciding, is it in the College of Business or is it in the College of Arts and Sciences that you're looking to go into. And in our first year gateway courses, or as some schools may call it, their general education courses, this is really to get you acclimated to campus academically. Every student at Bryant will take a writing workshop type of course. Every student will also take a class called Global Foundations of Business, whether or not you are an arts and sciences major, or if you're in the College of Business. That will allow students to get the basic understanding of how to put a business plan together, to work in their first group college setting, and to put together an elevator pitch and be able to present that to not only the professor, their class, but some industry leaders to get that example of what I would like to call maybe a Shark Tank experience if you've ever watched that television show. In addition to that, students will take a class called Global Foundations of Character and Leadership, really going back to our mission statement and making sure students realize the education of the whole person, and also what it is like to also be able to not only understand your place and your contributions that you can give to the Bryant community, but also the experiences of others and what that may look like through different readings, writing pieces, and with each other. Additionally to that too, students will participate in some core courses, usually 2 in the fall semester and 2 in the spring semester, to start working towards knocking down either their major requirements or just some general education courses. And then the last component, one that is fairly unique to us, is called the IDEA program. If you couldn't tell, we're big on acronyms already. So the Innovation Design Experience for All, which again goes back to that Shark Tank-like experience where students are given real-world problems that are either existing in our community, on campus, in the Rhode Island area, and then from there be able to work again in a group format to provide solutions, prototype, to ideate, to start to think of what different ways we can make sure we get solutions out to the community. So I actually served as a staff mentor this year in my group. Our question that we had to answer was, how do we reimagine the hotel experience for business travelers? So really a practical problem to solve. Students really got creative with it. They were able to actually go and shadow as well as interview some of the employees down at 2 downtown Providence hotels, come back and collaborate and come up with ideas, and then on the final day, present those ideas out to some industry leaders or to those who often frequent business travel and things like that. So it's a great first year experience to make sure you're ready for the next 3 years and that it carries through for all students. All right, and then bringing it back from outside of the classroom, or in the classroom to outside of the classroom, and what there is to get involved in. Certainly, we know that the college experience is certainly to build and get ready for your career, but we also want to make sure that you're having fun, balancing your mental health and self-care, while making sure that you are staying on top of your schoolwork too. So the first pillar of being active or staying active or getting involved on campus is certainly through athletics. Here at Bryant University, we do have 3 tiers of athletics. We'll start first with the most competitive and move down to the least competitive, again, with the most time consuming to the least time consuming. So at Bryant University, we are NCAA Division I in 22 varsity sports. So that is 11 men's teams, 11 women's teams. It is the highest level of collegiate play. If you aren't already aware, there are 3 divisions, Division I, II, and III, and kind of in that order, talk about how competitive they are in the highest tier to the lowest tier. If you are interested in that and you are a junior, I would say that these are recruitment based, and we do have a prospective student athlete questionnaire on our athletics page. I would fill that out and get in contact with the coaches, or the coaches will reach back out to you. Times are a little bit untraditional or non-traditional right now, so the communication may be a little bit slower than usual, but they will reach out to you at some point or another. Moving down from there are club sports. So they are still playing regionally. It's less of a time commitment, but you are able to still get that uniform on, compete against other schools nearby or in the regional level. And then there is a national competition for many of these club sports too. And then at an even lesser competitive level, and more just simply for fun, to stay healthy, stay active, sometimes even play against your professors, are those intramural sports. Last year, I think I saw the number of teams created across the fall and spring semester, and there are 190 intramural sports teams created. And they could be anyone from, who lives on your residence hall floor to perhaps a group that you've built in class, or a mix of genders, whatever you're looking to do there, and whichever sport is usually available based on the season. And again, kind of like going back to the video, we are making sure our facilities are getting a refresh every so often, or renovations or additions to campus. So we do have an indoor strength and conditioning center that was newly renovated and added a few years ago. Over this past winter, we did just refresh and add additional equipment to our wellness center. We do certainly offer group exercise classes too, and we're always refreshing those as well. So different ways to make sure you're staying active, whether it's through athletics or not. And then if you're sitting there and you're saying, I'm not athletically inclined, but I certainly would want to make sure I have ways to get involved outside of the classroom, and we certainly have that. Right now, we're about at 116 clubs and organizations that we offer. You see a range here ranging from the performing arts and a cappella groups, for pep band, orchestra, to jazz band, to Greek life. So we do have 4 fraternities and 4 sororities, as well as an NPHC fraternity and sorority as well there. And then we do have religious clubs and organizations. We are not religiously affiliated, but certainly would like to give you the space and the clubs and organizations to help you practice your religion if you are looking to. And if we don't offer that on campus, we can certainly work with our campus ministry to make sure that we're getting you the transportation or finding you the place to practice your religion. We also do have academic clubs and organizations, so every major does certainly have a particular association aligned with that too. You can see here in this image, it's an accounting association, but say you're thinking about global supply chain, there's an association for that. There's a psychology association, and often these academic clubs are bringing in guest speakers, many of times Bryant alum who want to speak about how they got where they were and how the Bryant University education was able to get them to that space. It's just a great networking experience. And then in your bottom 2 pictures there, it does talk about our community service organizations that we do offer. And then we do have some cultural and affinity groups. On campus, we do have a Center for Diversity and Inclusion. Under that, we do house the Intercultural Center, the Women's Center, the Pride Center, Campus Ministry, as well as a Center for International Students. So certainly making sure that through that, whether it be utilizing the professionals and their resources, if not that, then the club. So Multicultural Student Union, to the International Student Organization, to a number in between there too. And then another aspect that I think sometimes is a decision factor or something that students consider, maybe not during the admissions process, but maybe during their time in college, or maybe something you're considering even now, is the ability to study abroad. So we certainly provide that for our students in two different ways. I'll start first with the sophomore international experience, which, as it indicates or alludes to, that is for our students that are eligible during their sophomore year of either their winter break or their spring break, which would technically be in the summer after they've completed their sophomore year, where students will go to select locations for about 10 to 14 days. And you actually get a 3-credit course equivalent for this. You'll do a pre-departure course. You'll meet with your faculty advisors. You'll also get to meet other students in your cohort who will be traveling with you. And I always like to talk about SIE, or Sophomore International Experience, as a good glimpse into study abroad to really see if that's something you're looking to do for a full semester, for a winter break, or for a summer break, and what that may look like. Because it is during the winter break or summer break of that sophomore year, locations are a little bit more limited, but I promise you there is a great diversity in the locations we offer. In the past, we've offered locations such as Germany and Spain, Budapest and Prague, Malaysia and Singapore, China, Japan, Italy, and every year it's not just one location. It is a list of locations where you'll rank and be able to decide which one you want to go to, and you're not locked in. You do have the choice to decide once they give you the final decision whether or not you want to go there or not. And then generally speaking, just like many other colleges and universities, we do have the general study abroad experience. You can see here that 50% of students go abroad, whether it be through Sophomore International Experience or the general study abroad, or even both. We do have a study abroad office that is dedicated to making sure that we make those connections for you, whether it be you are the first Bryant student to go to fill in the blank location and we want to build that relationship for you, or if we already have a partnership and we are looking to help you get there, and then what that may look like as far as your credits and making sure they are going to correctly transfer back to us and what that looks like. As far as the financial aid and what that may look like for the study abroad side of things, your scholarships and your financial aid will travel with you abroad, so you're not losing that while you are trying to gain another college experience. And then bringing it back to campus a little bit and talking about living there. Of course, being from North Carolina, we assume that you will be resident students. Here on our campus, we do actually have a majority of our students be residential. In that first year, it is usually around that 90% of first year students do decide to live on campus, and then usually in the mid 80% range for all 4 years. We have what is called a progressive 4-year housing on our campus, and what that means is every year getting a little bit more space and a little bit more responsibility with that too. So in the first year, we have 3 different buildings. All of our buildings are named after cities or towns in Rhode Island. So for us, that is Warren House, Barrington, and Bristol House. 2 of the buildings are traditional in the sense that it's a double style. So you and your roommate with a hallway bathroom by gender at the end of the floor, but a co-ed building. Or if you would like to step in at an early point in time and go into suite style, you can opt into that, which gives you your own living room or common area, your own bathroom, but then still that double style rooming situation. And then in your sophomore and junior year, all students are housed in that suite style that I just talked about in the upper and lower village. And then in your senior year, all students are placed into townhouses. So these are full kitchens, a bathroom upstairs and downstairs, singles and double bedrooms, sometimes a small patio area or a backyard. And then there's a community center down where the seniors are in the townhouses, volleyball courts, a grill area. So we make sure that there's a community built throughout all of the 4 years. During all 4 years, there are resident assistants, which are your peer students. I actually served as a resident assistant in my last 2 years, 1 year in a first year hall, and then my senior year down at the townhouses. So it really builds for you that living and learning community where there is a resource. We're there to make sure you are safe in your environment. We are also there if you are needing additional conversations, maybe discussing homesickness or having a tough time with a course and you're looking for some additional resources. We are there for you in that way. And then our supervisor as resident assistants would be called resident directors or community directors. So they are they're kind of serving, making sure that the university and the RAs are really able to communicate and work as a liaison to make sure our student needs are being fulfilled. Of course, if not most important, one of the most important aspects of deciding about college or even thinking about the process is what are your dining options, what's that look like? In order to succeed in the classroom, you have to feed that brain. So for us, we do have a main dining hall called Salmonson Dining Hall. In addition to that too, we do have cafes all spread out throughout campus, one in our library, a couple in our student center, one in our main academic building. We also have, if you have ever visited New England, you know that Dunkin' Donuts is a big thing for us. So we certainly have a Dunkin' Donuts on campus. We have Subway. We also have a grill area as well, and then a convenience store on campus for those maybe a quick pint of Ben & Jerry's or anything that you may be looking for. We also offer, in addition to that, if you aren't able to have a sit-down meal, say you have a club meeting to go to or a night class or anything like that, we want to make sure you're still being fed and able to grab something on the go. So we have many convenient on-the-go options. So we do have what we call Bulldog Bucks and dining dollars that you may utilize to replace what would have been maybe going to the dining hall and sitting down for a meal. The hub and commuter connection is just basically saying that although we are primarily residential community, we want to make sure that the commuter students are able to acclimate into our campus and transition well to and have a place to go to. So the hub is a club primarily focused on commuter students and making sure that they have all the resources that they need or that they have a voice to the student government to make sure that all of their needs are being fulfilled. And then the last piece there is that transportation piece. Usually coming from somewhere of a great distance, such as North Carolina, you may not necessarily be able to bring a car to campus. In fact, we actually, for first year students, do not allow cars to be on campus for the first year, but do for the last 3 years. I actually did not have a car until my senior year, and I was able to get around just fine with the services that we do offer. So one of those services is the Rhode Island Public Transit Authority, which is our state bus. You get that free with your student ID. They actually come to campus around 30 plus times a day, right onto campus. And you are able to use that to get to Providence, Rhode Island, to maybe go down to one of those beaches, to visit a friend at another Rhode Island university or college if you'd like. If that is not your style and you were trying to think of another way to get off campus, we do have the Bryant Transit Authority, which is a shuttle service, which will get you to the most local mall. It will get you to a shopping center that has Target, Dollar Tree, Marshalls, Home Goods, Chipotle, IHOP, Starbucks. And if not that, maybe you need to go to the pharmacy or go to a medical center for any reason. That is another service that you may utilize. And then another one that we have on campus, if you do have a driver's license, is Zipcar. So Zipcar is often at a student discounted rate for a particular hour time block or more than an hour time block if you may need up to a day or multiple days that you may sign out, quote unquote, the car. And then from there, they do cover your gas and insurance within that price point. So there are certainly ways to get off campus without needing to have a car at any point during your Bryant experience. And we want to make sure we allow that through many different methods. So in our next slide here, we'll talk a little bit about that career prep and what that may look like for you. Of course, at the end of the day, you are attending a particular college or university to make sure you're ready for this real world that everyone talks about. So we do have a great resource on campus that has been nationally ranked on multiple occasions called the Amica Center for Career Education. This center provides students something as simple as a resume review, to a cover letter critique, to having alumni. We're 50,000 alumni strong, so many of times we are looking or they are looking to recruit and hire those who went through the same educational experience as themselves. Here are some just quick statistics for you. About 87% of students complete an internship during their time at Bryant. Actually, it's very common to complete at least one during your time at Bryant. Sometimes that summer after your freshman year, students are still looking to go home to be that camp counselor or to give back to their community and aren't ready to take on an academic internship yet. It's very popular after that sophomore year and after that junior year. And we certainly help you find that experience through our career center. And we actually host 2 career fairs every year. So you have the opportunity to go to up to 8 times of a career fair, once held in the fall semester and once in the spring, where about 400 different companies will come back. Many alumni will adorn their alumni tag to let you know that they went there and they know what you're going through and they would like to recruit you to their companies. And you don't have to wait until your junior and senior year of college to attend. If you are an eager first-year student, freshman student who wants to attend the fall semester one, you certainly can sign up and go and check out where you may job shadow, where you may get an internship, trade in your resume for one of their business cards and go from there. And then more than half of them will do their on-campus interviews with us in our Amica Center for Career Education. So again, thinking about accessibility and transportation and all of those things, we don't want those pieces to be a barrier for you. So we certainly make sure that we are resourceful in any way that we can be. And just another general statistic that we're very proud of, this comes from our last graduating class. About 99% of Bryant students in 6 months after graduation were either in their field of study, working, or attending graduate school. Many of the degrees at Bryant on the business side, we are finding companies will hire the students, want them to go and complete their masters, but still have this job pending and waiting for them once they complete their masters. Accounting is a big example of that, where in order to sit for the Certified Public Accounting exam or the CPA, you do have to have 150 credits. Oftentimes that is a combination of your bachelor's and your master's, and then you will already have not only the credits to sit for the CPA exam, but you will also have the ability to have that job waiting for you right after your collegiate experience. And then the average starting salary this past year was about $62,000. And we also challenge you, as you're looking at colleges and universities, to look at this job placement rate and number and ask the colleges and universities what the response rate they were getting. We are always proud to say that we have received somewhere in the upper 90% response rate from the senior class every year. So we are not just asking the seniors who are placed in a job or in graduate school to answer us. We are actually looking for a true sample size year to year. And this here just is a nice fun graphic of showing you a little bit of where everyone has gone. This is not by any means an exhaustive list of where people have gone. I know PwC is one of the top 4 accounting firms. They do have an office in Charlotte. I know that Bank of America is headquartered in North Carolina, so that one may be something that's closer to home for you. If you are thinking about any of the sports or athletic teams, these are a little bit more biased to us and a little bit easier for us as we are in New England. So these are our New England sports teams here. But there are also students who may not want to go the corporate route, and they're thinking about nonprofits, or they're thinking about going more of the arts and sciences direction. We certainly have a list of the places that students are going to in that way too. And next I'll play another video for you, just really from the student perspective, to kind of give you that final thought of being Bryant after all I've heard so far. And then I will certainly turn that over to the application process and what that may look like for us.
To be Bryant
means that you challenge yourself to excel.
And you inspire others to excel.
It means you have the drive and inner determination.
To be an innovative leader.
It means that you're real world ready.
To drive change.
And make a difference.
And you have the resources to draw on and the strength of your own will.
To discover your passion.
Every day at Bryant is an opportunity to break boundaries and reach your fullest potential.
Our integration of unsurpassed business education and liberal arts is empowering.
And prepares you for leadership and achievement.
For more than a century and a half, Bryant has inspired excellence in an ever-changing world.
To be Bryant means that you push yourself to realize your full potential.
It means that you immerse yourself in a unique culture of innovation and success.
One that is competitive and prepares you for your chosen profession.
And also honors community, social responsibility, and values.
Where you can match business and liberal arts programs.
And build your credentials for success.
99% of Bryant's graduating class
is either employed or in graduate school.
Within 6 months of graduation. I had a job offer before winter break, and it was exactly the position that I wanted.
Be inspired.
Be engaged.
Be in high demand.
Be a global leader.
Be the game changer.
Be successful.
Be Bryant.
All right, so I hope that kind of culminates and wraps up in student perspectives, the Bryant experience and what they were able to get for that through their experience in a few simple clips there. So if all of this sounds good to you and you're maybe going to add us to your college list, or maybe we're already there for you, what does that look like as you think about your senior year and applying? These are our steps of how to do so. So the only way to apply to Bryant University currently is through the Common Application. As far as what that looks like for you, I'm sure that through the game plan, they will certainly walk through the steps of what that may look like and how to best present yourself through it. But we actually are only found through the Common Application. As far as the personal essay, we aren't asking for anything additional to the Common Application essay. We know how much writing you do or will do in your senior year. So we just are looking for one of the topics of the Common Application and for that to be your personal essay. As far as letter of recommendation, oftentimes we are looking for this to come from your college counselor, guidance counselor. It could even be an advisor that you're utilizing through game plan if you'd wish, but at least one. Sometimes students are wondering, just one, can I give you more than that? You certainly can. We've had students utilize coaches before. We've had students utilize their employers, other teachers that they've built a relationship over their time in high school. But at least one, and I'd say a comfortable number would probably be about 3. Any more than that, you can imagine that it starts getting a little bit competitive. And I believe my other college admission colleagues would say that too, whether or not it's Bryant. We're also looking for your official transcript and senior grades, so it is important to make sure that that upward trend or your grades do continue to progress. We know that it's a little bit of tricky times right now. Everyone doesn't really know what it'll look like for grades as far as the rest of this year and what next year will look like. So we are going to be flexible with you. We just ask that you share with us as you come up with concerns, what those may be, and we'll work with you throughout the whole process. And then the last piece, we are a school that is test optional or allows you to provide your testing. We do take the traditional SAT or ACT. We do understand that in these current times that some of the test dates have been canceled. Again, we are going to be flexible with that with you. But the other nice thing about being test optional is that knowing that you can certainly decide to apply without testing. You're not penalized, you're still eligible for merit scholarships. And what we are looking for in place of that are some short answer responses. You don't have to do it all in one sitting. You can certainly save your common application where it's at or submit it and then send us the test optional responses after. So again, you're not going to be penalized for being test optional. Some students just really realize that who they are in the classroom and what their transcript shows and indicates is a better indicator for who they are and what they can produce in the college environment than their testing can show, and vice versa. Some students are very strong at testing and they want to show us that, and their transcript may have some blips in it or may not be the best indicator of their abilities. As far as some deadlines and what those look like for us, we have a few different deadlines at Bryant. So early decision, early action, and regular decision, I'll kind of speak to what those mean. First is starting with November 1st. Early decision 1 and 2, there is no difference between them except simply the date. I will say early decision, just like it sounds like, it is a binding agreement. It is saying that we are your top choice school, and usually there's a financial tie to it. If you were to get in, we expect that you would attend. So that is, if you know for sure, Bryant is your top choice and where you want to go, and it is a binding agreement. Early action, that is more of the one that I do recommend and suggest. It is showing us high interest at an earlier time period. It is giving you the ability to see your financial aid letter at an earlier time period and give you time to visit us, to speak with us, to be able to connect with a current student. Or if you are not feeling like you're within the profile and you might be below profile a little bit, which I will share in a few minutes what that looks like for us. This allows you to be potentially deferred to regular decision, or quote unquote get a second chance through regular decision. So I always advocate for students, if they are able to go with early action. We certainly understand there are a number of different circumstances as to why you may not apply early action, but that is usually the one that I try to work with students to get to. And then the last one would be regular decision with the February 1st. That is the last deadline that we offer. We do have these set deadlines, so we are not a rolling admission school. With regular decision, it is the last opportunity to be able to do so, and then it is also a non-binding agreement. Whereas, again, early decision is a binding agreement, early action and regular decision are non-binding agreements. And then I did speak to saying, you know, what does profile look like for us, or what did our first year class, some of the numbers look like, or what did we admit this year? This year, our average GPA for our first year class was about a 3.4. I always like to highlight that's average, so that means that we certainly have students above and below that mark. I wouldn't, eliminate yourself from applying to Bryant if you're below that, and then if you're above that, it certainly does not mean an automatic admission either. As far as testing goes, for those who submitted, the middle 50% was around a 1220 on the SAT, and we do super score, so we'll take the highest of all your sections. And then it was about a 25 to a 27 ACT. Again, we'll look at the highest of those there. And then going back to that test optional piece, if you're feeling as though you are below that or well below that, we usually suggest to go test optional. However, that is a student decision and we can't choose that for you. And kind of some final steps here, if everything that you've heard so far sounds great, from the academic side to the student life, to the community aspect, to the video clips from our president and our student, we are the Bryant Bulldogs, so that is our mascot. You can actually see our, in the right corner of your screen there, Tupper, named after Earl Tupperware and the land that we're on. This is our Old English Bulldog. He's our mascot that's on at every athletic event, open house, anything that he can go to, he will be there. And so that is our mascot when we say be a bulldog. Certainly feel free to reach out to me. That is my email there. Again, my name is Katie Fung, so kfung@bryant.edu is the best way to reach out to me. You can do that today, over the summer, next year, whenever you feel as though you may come up with questions. We certainly, in these times, say to explore and take a look at who we are virtually. And we also are available on social media too, through Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. There are also student pages, so if you are not looking necessarily for the admission office, you can certainly follow or look at any of the clubs and organizations that we feature, as they are also on social media too. And if you are trying to take a look around campus and do that virtually, or even before you decide to pay us a visit in person, once it is okay to have such visits. Right now we are closed with everything going on, and per the CDC guidelines, you can visit us virtually. So UVisit is the site that we use, where you can walk around, quote unquote, campus and be guided by a tour guide through the different spaces that we have on campus. And we're also every Monday through Friday at 10:15 a.m. we do offer a general information session, which is very similar to this, but we'll have a current student on that if you're looking to contact or talk to or ask questions with a current student. If not, the other method would be to reach out to me and I can see if I can connect you to a current student as well. And then with that, that is what I have for the presentation this afternoon.
Awesome, thank you so much. We just have a few questions, and if anyone has a question, please go ahead and post it in the chat now. So what are the financing options for international students?
Yeah, so for our international students, they are still eligible for merit scholarship. They are common to other schools. Anything that is related to the FAFSA is not eligible for, but we do provide merit scholarships similar to all of our other students, whether that be domestic students, DACA undocumented students too.
If international students are given a financial aid offer, can they appeal that offer?
Yes, all students are able to have an appeal process for their offer.
And how would they go about this?
So that simply can start with an email with myself, a counselor, or the general admissions office to let us know. It could be just as simple as that sentence, I would like to be reevaluated. And then we will take that up to our committee. And then we often like to try to turn that over as quick as possible, knowing that it is a college decision is a time-sensitive thing. You may have to start comparing packages and what that looks like. So oftentimes in a week or less.
So what are the on-campus employment opportunities for students, and how early can a student get on-campus employment?
Yes, so we, through your financial aid package, if you are getting the federally funded work study employment program, there are certainly roles on campus for that. And then there's also non-work study positions on campus. You can start that as soon as actually the summer before you start your freshman year, once you've decided to deposit. I actually did that. I found a role that worked as an administrative assistant within the continuing education office. I then transitioned that later on to work for Office of Institutional Research. And then some students decide, working in an office, they don't want to do that for their work study or non-work study position. So they may work for athletics during the games. They may work in our student center as a building manager. They may decide that they want to help in other capacities with the faculty suites. And so it's really up to you to look at what you're passionate about. But even in our own office, in the admission office, we have people that range anywhere from a tour guide to those who assist us with our mailings and our phone calls. So there are many different methods for students to find that employment on campus. And we always have this running list through the financial aid office of what is available throughout the year.
So a student had a follow-up question. So if I understand correctly, international students can appeal, and if they do, they could potentially receive financial aid based on their financial need?
Yes, yeah, not on the need, on the merit side. So
okay.
It is a merit-based, my apologies if that was unclear or miscommunicated by me, but that is a merit-based appeal.
Okay. So you attended Bryant. Can you tell us a little bit about why you decided to attend this university?
Yeah, so actually stepping a little bit back into my college search process and what that looked like. I'm a first generation college student, and the first in my I do have a younger brother, so I always relate or call myself the guinea pig child in the family to really figure out what that may look like. Through my list and searches, actually, I am also from the Rhode Island area, and my goal was actually to get out of Rhode Island. So although Bryant University was actually not at first in the top few colleges for me, it was not until actually asking to speak with an admission counselor, being connected to 2 current students, and then finally, once I decided to apply and was admitted, I attended the admitted student open house. That was a culmination of what did it for me. I did have other schools that I got into that I was looking at much more, but once I visited those schools and once I saw that interpersonal connection wasn't really there for me, as well as things I was hoping to get involved in, those knocked those schools down the list for me, and this came up to the top for me. So I know that sometimes people think of the school that they attend to as the place that was their #1 choice all along. It was not that for me. It actually involved me giving Bryant University a chance and taking a look at all that it had to offer before making that final decision.
Great. So a final question. Why would you say that Bryant University is a good place for a student from Durham, North Carolina to go to school?
Excellent. So I think that providing the aspect of the geographic diversity to our campus certainly is one perspective. I think that our students that come from outside of the New England area, they are just adding that much more to our campus. But above all, I think that the type of education that we are providing, both getting that major and minor in the 2 colleges, and being able to still, if you wanted to return home for those internship experiences or for the post-grad experiences, you are able to do that. I think many of the students that I work with, whether it be from North Carolina or from other far out-of-state areas such as Puerto Rico, they are able to really see that return on investment in the student experience. And I can speak to my student experience, but I think that if I was able to connect you with other current students who are from outside of the New England area, would certainly share the same values about getting that well-rounded experience in and out of the classroom, and still being able to have the opportunity to go back home if they decide to post-grad for their job placement or for those internship experiences.